All right, guys, we're here in the Mezcal Buzz Media Corner, Salud Amigos Fest. I'm very excited because we have Joseph Solis of Maison Solis, luxury lifestyle brand rooted in cocktail culture.
Cocktail culture, spirits, wine, mixology, hospitality, you take your pick, brother.
Cool. We met a little bit earlier. You gave us like a good lowdown on behind the brand and the project you have here, which I'm fascinated. I'm gonna let you speak on that.
Sure, thanks, man. I'm glad you guys came by as well. Thank you for stopping by our booth. It's our first time here at Salud Amigos. Based on my relationship with Pepe and Alejandra, I wanted to make sure that we were part of this and part of the larger community for mezcal and agave, and obviously tequila. So we're super excited, and yeah, really quickly. So Maison Solis is a luxury lifestyle brand rooted in cocktail culture. What does that mean? So I guess it probably makes sense for me to kind of give you some context. So I've been in wine and spirits for about 27 years. Of those, 20 years has been in tequila. So I'd like to think that there's some sort of history or credibility that I'm coming to the table. It's not like I'm just trying to, hustle some like agave products. In addition to that, I'm also a judge for the LA Spirit Awards, one of the founding judges. So judge tequilas, mezcals, bourbons, you take your pick for the LA Spirit Awards as well. So as I mentioned to you before, I've been in wine and spirits for 27 years. A few years ago, it was right after COVID, getting back into the swing of things. My other company, Soul Hospitality Group, we do events for all the major brands, Moet Hennessy, Diageo, Bacardi, all of the brands. And I remember us getting back into the mix. And I tell this story often, 4 o'clock in the morning, back is hurting, sciatica kicks in, and I'm thinking, shit, I can't do this much longer. I'll leave it to the young guns. And so I said, I really, had to have a really important conversation with myself. Joseph, what does 2.0 look like for you? What does a legacy look like for you? And I have been obsessed with fragrance my entire life. Literally, I think I explained this to you guys earlier, that fragrance saved me. Coming from very humble beginnings, fragrance was escapism. It was, it was self-soothing, it was aspirational. And so I decided to create this brand, Maison Solis, putting out products, luxury products, lifestyle products around cocktail culture, wine and spirits. So I launched Maison Solis 3 years ago with our Bar Essentials line. Our Bar Essentials line is a collaboration with a 4th generation copper cooperage in Michoacán, Mexico. So artisanal barware line, really, really intentional, beautiful, handmade, hand-painted, with much respect for the culture. And then last year at Tales of the Cocktail, we launched the world's first ever luxury fragrance line inspired by agave. And at that point, it was expressions of tequila. And we'll get into it in a little bit, last Thursday, on our 1-year anniversary of our fragrance line, we launched Mezcal fragrance, Mezcal by Maison Solis. So I'm sure we'll jump into that.
Yeah, fantastic. And leading into that, that's one thing that really struck my interest as well when Pepe was telling us about it, and then in the conversation with you, is how much aromas and fragrance ties into spirits and
Absolutely.
Spirit tasting. As someone that gives tastings for agave spirits and mezcal,
Absolutely.
we're often very careful to not overpower or wear any old perfume that could very much be overpowering when you're
Sure.
tasting spirits. So it's fascinating, and we were at the booth and we got some samples, and you gave it to us.
I let you guys just some of our fragrances
a little bit
here.
Yeah,
this is our packaging.
Explain that to us, how
so
it
I'll
works.
kind of put it into some context. So being in agave spirits for the last 20-something years, I was in kindergarten when I started, hint, hint. So for me, it was all about intention, right? So fragrances, are very much like spirits. There's the distillation process. There is finding oils. There's a finding ingredients the same way that we distill spirits, same process. Then there's the master blender component. That's working with your perfumer. If you are the perfumer, it's literally blending things together the same way that a master blender blends offerings of all spirits, cognac, agave, whatever it may be. So super huge similarities. Also, when we properly nose a spirit, take mezcal for example, all the nuances that we look for, top note, middle note, follow through, it's the exact same thing in fragrance. So they literally go hand in hand.
And so what was the intention when you created this line for the agave spirits, for example? Like the use case, right? Is this for like bartenders to use, or just aficionados that want to smell like the spirits you're drinking, or for a connoisseur that's giving tasting?
So for us, what's really cool, and actually I'm very lucky, is that we have two distinct target consumers. We have wine and spirit enthusiasts, and within that structure, tequila aficionados, mezcal aficionados. So very, very hardcore. On the other side of the business, we have fine fragrance and niche perfumes. So two different worlds, but actually come together through my brand. So the intention was to create a fragrance line that really showed all the nuances and all the flavors of agave spirits. Now, we launched with our agave collection as our premier collection. We will release different lines, different inspirations every year. All will weave in a wine, spirit, or a cocktail. And that's part of us being rooted in cocktail culture, but putting out products, lifestyle products.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what are the fragrances that you have lined up today at Salud Amigos Fest?
So we have our flagship, which is what we started, our premier collection, Blanco, Reposado, Añejo, which is part of the Tequila collection. I actually had to change my verbiage on the packaging because I kept saying inspired by agave and expressions of tequila. But when we started working on mezcal a year ago, I was like, oh shit, tequila people are going to eat my ass up. It's mezcal, is obviously different. So we now actually have said inspired by expressions of agave. So it could mean sotol, it could mean raiza, it could mean, I'm just saying, you never know. Product development is whatever I'm inspired by, which is the beautiful part of being able to own my brand and express myself the way that I want to. It's a blessing.
And what's that like? We've been talking to different maestros and maestras tequileras today. What's the process like of bringing these fragrances, these aromas together into a formula, if I could call it, to a final expression that you produce?
I think it's very similar. Actually, no, it's very similar to the spirits process. First of all, you start with the brief, similar to if you're developing a brand. The brief is very intense. What is the big idea? What is, the target market? How do you want to express yourself in the world? How do you want to position yourself? Very much like spirits, right? From that point, there's our people that are perfumers, the technical, scientific, weird science, perfumer, the technicality. I actually decided to work with someone by the name of Ethan Turner, who is a Sommelier-Turned-Perfumer. So when we met, it was literally kismet, match made in heaven, no learning curve. He knew and was able to approach this from the sommelier side. Me having 27 years in wine and spirits, we literally just started working and we understood each other, not just through fragrance, culturally, we understood each other and our passion was a match, which was awesome. So I got super blessed.
Yeah, awesome. And you mentioned to us a little bit earlier as well, you provide some experiences that bring together cuisine, spirits, the fragrances.
So last year, a year ago actually, this week, we launched the Tales of the Cocktail. And we created something called the Maison Solis Experience. It's a 2-hour event. And in those 2 hours, I work with a mixologist, or I do it, of course, with my background into cocktails, and I bring in a small chef. So the first half hour is welcome cocktails. So we take all the ingredients from the perfume and we build them back up into drinkable form in terms of forms of cocktails. And then it's a sit down, white table, 30 people only. Everyone comes in, there's tasting mats and white glove. The perfume comes out with the tequila partner that we work with. And it's placed on the table and we do a sensorial training around each of the expressions of the fragrance. Fantastic. So it's truly sensorial. And then the chef will also bring out a small bite. So it's all the senses together and it's super cool.
That's fantastic. And today we're Salud Amigos Fest. You're providing a similar experience for people to see the expressions here.
Adaptable. So we took a couple of different tequilas from all the different folks that, I love so much. I think one standout that I didn't even really know, 3030 brought their añejo, and I smelled it, and I instantly knew that it paired perfectly with our añejo fragrance. And sure enough, so impromptu, we love to support all the brands. We are now actually at our booth right now. We actually have 3030 Añejo pairing with our fragrance, and people are blown away on how we got from the tequila to actually create a fragrance out of it that is literally perfumed, but yet still holds the integrity of the spirit.
Awesome. Maybe can we walk through it a bit? We have some mezcal here.
Absolutely.
You asked me about Tobala. This is Cántaro Chumpeate. Maestro Mezcalero Celerino García, our good friend Rey David, is representing his family brand. And this is an ensemble. It has, I think, 5 different magueyes. Tobala is one of them. We got some Coyote, Madre Cuish, and Cuish in this.
Oh my God, the perfume, the nose
San
on
Luis
this is
Amatlan in the house.
spectacular. May we try?
Yes, let's try. Salud.
Cheers, brother. Wow. Complex, floral, fruity, smoky. The follow-through is consistent. This is absolutely beautiful.
I get a lot of petrichor on that retro breath, like soil minerality.
Absolutely. It's almost aquatic.
Oh yes, I like a fish tank kind of.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. One of the things for us, so when we created our mezcal blend, it took me a while because I needed permission to play in that space. I have permission based on my background, but I wanted to keep it 1,000, and it was really about respecting the generations of mezcaleros. And so I brought in a 5th generation mezcalero, Daniel Lara with San Bartolo. I don't know if you know him, but he came in as what I'm calling him as the guardian of the culture, just to ensure that there was another layer of authenticity and respect to the process. So I was very intentional, like even our verbiage when we're launching, this is really about paying homage to the generations of mezcalero. This is about really, really putting out something with respect and integrity. And I also, for our mezcal blend of the perfume, it's a love letter to Los Angeles, because like mezcaleros, it's all about resilience. It's all about, fortitude. What's going on right now here in LA? Yes. But it's just like the mezcaleros when we stand for what we believe in. It's heritage, it's pride, it's culture. I get a little choked up. So very, very important. It was very super important for me to be able to respect the true purveyors of what I call the nectar of the gods. Yeah, this ain't some token bullshit, man.
I absolutely love that. Salud to that.
Thank you.
You guys check it out. Maison Solis. That was a good one. I like that. Salud.
Cheers.